Hello everyone, welcome back to another Age of Empires 4 commentary. I am Beyond, and thank you so much for the support in the past couple of videos and channel as a whole. I really do appreciate it. Today we have an absolute banger of a game for you. Today we have Beasty, aka Yeah Hello, as the French playing as the yellow with the old golden boat right down the middle. And across the map we have Corvinus 1 playing as the Malians rocking the pink. And we have a lovely golden bombard in the middle of it all. Now, both of these players are, of course, well-known streamers and YouTubers. We'll leave their links in the description below. I think we're going to have a lot of great gameplay coming up in the next couple of weeks and months. One, because every pro is prepping for the 3 tournament slate that's coming up for the fall. And 2, there's tons of qualifiers that are open to cast from EGC. So there's going to be a lot of really great games to be casted and put on this channel. So hopefully, yeah, I'm going to try to do as many of them as I possibly can. And yeah, let's get right into the stats on this one. The French currently sit at about a 37.5% win rate across about 250 games in Conquer and above. And across every single rank, the French sit at about a 46% win rate over about 4.4 thousand games. So obviously, the Malians are slightly favored in this matchup. They do have all that passive income from all their pit mines and everything like that. And those early sofas and those donzos can cause absolute havoc for the French knights. The donzos could be the best counter in the game to horsemen at a smaller scale. One thing that the French usually love to do is get an advantage with that first or second knight when they pop out and try to start to really cook in that front and get some economic damage. But if the Malians counter with a quick couple of donzos, that first knight is essentially just evaporated from the field. Not only are they a counter in terms of spearmen when they get in close, but they can also throw their spears, kind of like a javelin, all the way across, doing that early poke damage. That means that knight can't take that extra risk of going underneath the TC, because you do risk losing it quite quickly. We'll have to wait and see what Beasty decides to do here. He might go for an early TC to really counter that early passive income from these pit mines. He knows for sure that the donzos are going to be coming out in the map, so maybe he just goes maybe only 1 or 2 of those knights before he can get a critical massive archers as well. We'll have to wait and see. We have the Manzana Quarry coming down for Corvinus. Pretty stock standard at this point for our Malian player. Now, if you have made this far into the video and you have been enjoying these casts and all the co-casters I've had on the channel, please do drop a like on this video. It helps me out a ton. And please do subscribe. I'm really trying to get to that 1,000 mark, get that partnership status. It would mean the absolute world to me. Besides that, I mean, we definitely have a little bit of a chill kind of aspect going on right now. You know, just kind of hanging out, nothing too crazy. And this video is going to be dropping on Friday, so that means tomorrow, for when you're watching this, or the Saturday, the 3rd, 2nd, I don't know. The Saturday of the first week of September, I will be also casting the one-shot tournament that is organized by Choom on my Twitch channel. So we'll be streaming the entire and casting the entire tournament. So excited for that as well. So if you do like live casted games, you can go check that out in the description below. Now again, we're just kind of chilling right now, nothing too crazy. Some straggler trees going down. We do love that Zoom is fully back. And of course, not only is everyone hyped about the possibility of all these amazing tournaments, and they're also hyped because of all the new civs. If you could do me a favor and leave me a comment and say which civ you think is going to be for sure. Is it Japan? Is it Byzantine? Do you think it's only going to be 1 civ, 2 civ? Let me know your thoughts. And what you think for sure is going to be happening. Everyone has their own opinions. I've been seeing it all over Discord, stuff like that. Everyone says there's guaranteed to be 1 civ in a campaign. Everyone says there's going to be guaranteed to be 3 civs because that's been leaked. So let me know. We do see that Beasty is going for that early stone, which means we're going to be seeing an early second town center. Now this is pretty standard for the French. A lot of them, kind of like the Rus right now, are in a very good spot to go for that second TC, and with that early knight for a little bit of map control, you can essentially secure this. No funny business will be happening on your end, and if you do sense that there's going to be some trouble, you can make a few more knights, which is always a nice benefit of the French. And of course, the French benefit even more from that second town center because they have the improved villager production speed, makes it even better for them. Let's see how Corvinus kind of goes against this. We see a stable out on the map, so we're going to be seeing those warrior scouts. So probably going to be trying to collect as much food as possible. Now this is actually a pretty big thing against the French. The French are notorious for getting pretty food deprived, so if he can steal all these deers over here, we only have a few extra berry bushes for Beasty at this front. I will say if Beasty can get to one of these sides, which I believe this is a tournament map, so it should be very interesting to see how. I believe it's called regions. As you can see, a lot of food onto each side, a lot of berry bushes over here. So it should be, there should be a lot of fighting over these areas. And of course, there's a bunch of gold right smack dab in the middle. So with these warrior scouts, if Corvinus can start to steal this only food source over here, Beasty will be forced to really start to move out of his base. But that being said, it looks like we're going to be seeing a TCB dropped. Is it going to be in the middle of all this food over here? Where are we going to drop it? I think the lads are going to drop it way over here. That means Beasty's going to fully secure so much food. He is not new to this map, which is super exciting. We can see the Donzos are coming out, which means those knights are going to be doing absolutely nada to Beasty. But the Donzos are moving out, and as you can see, as I called, with those warrior scouts, we are starting to see some deer be taken back to the main base, but Beasty has an absolute plethora of options over here, and if you can keep them underneath the TC, they should be safe and sound from being stolen. I think that Corvinus thought that for sure Beasty was going to be moving out to drop the second TC over here. I don't think he thought he'd be bold enough to drop it way over here, but with those early two knights, Beasty did feel comfortable enough to sneak these villagers out and get a lot of damage done. Corvinus has not scouted this at all yet, so he doesn't know where it is. He knows it's happening somewhere, but he did steal all these deer, which would be incredibly annoying if Beasty didn't have 20 more deer over yonder. There's 3 little small deer packs and a boar right next to this TC, so as I mentioned before, the French usually have somewhat of an issue with food. Not going to be an issue in the slightest going forward for this, which is always nice to see at that front. Now we can see a little conga line of warrior scouts and Donzos. They're trying to protect them the best they possibly can. We see a nice outpost going in over here. It's always really good at this point if you are newer to the game. I know a lot of people are coming over from Xbox. Place those towers around on this side, like from over here to over here when you're placing them. That way that these can get quickly into the outpost, provide a lot of extra sight, and so it makes it so there's no funny business with archers and stuff like that. That being said, this one is not a super big issue because there's no English longbowmen. If there are English longbowmen in the game, aka English, make sure you put it on the top side. That way they can't just shoot up and over. Because I believe the English longbowmen could easily shoot from over here and get a lot of harass down going forward. But Beasty knows he just has to deal with a bunch of Donzos and a bunch of warrior scouts, and that's all he really has to deal with. We do see some javelin throwers coming in for Corvinus as well. But as you can see, the benefit of the second TC is going very, very well for Beasty, due to the 8 villager lead already. Now the warrior scouts, they haven't made what they were paid for back just yet. They've just been kind of collecting a bunch of deer, which they're going back for one more at the current moment. They are starting to collect deer from around the map, so this is going to be pretty nice, and Corvinus is going to be a-okay for food for like ever. So that's always nice for him on that front, but I don't think he still scouted this over here, so Beasty's just kind of chilling. Really no risk, there's no really anything funny business happening. Only has Donzos, which cannot actually dive a TC comfortably at this point. I will say that's the only thing I might want to see out of the new season. I'm sure there's going to be tons of different changes. Of course, Delhi needs some help. They need all of our help desperately. But I wouldn't mind seeing a bit of a nerf to TCs. Just how good they are at firing back. It makes them so hard to dive with anything that's not an armored unit with like +1 or +2 range defense. I wouldn't mind seeing a little bit of, just a little bit easement on that front, just to make sure we get a little bit of just some more early game, some more feudal age aggression. I think the move right now, and we'll be seeing this a lot more in tournaments, so we can verify it then. but it's just so good to get a second TC. And at this point, what did Beasty give up? It's 10 minutes. He has a 13 villager lead. Of course, the Malians have some great passive income, so it won't be as impactful, which is why this matchup is the way it is in terms of the win rates, and the Donzos, of course. But at the same time, it's like, what is being given up at this point? Because as you can see, the numbers, yes, are in favor of Corvinus at the current moment, but this is only growing quite quickly, and he has the resources to back it up. 26 villagers are on food currently, and we can finally move it over to the minute, and look at how much food he's producing. That's a pretty sizable force. I mean, these are all warrior scouts, so they're pretty squishy, and pound for pound, obviously the French Knights are better. And look at the army value. BC has a second TC and the army value lead. That's absolutely nuts. And the more of these Donzos that are produced, the more of these archers are coming in. Yes, the javelin throwers are coming into play, so it's a very nice, well-rounded comp from Corvinus. But I don't know if he's going to be able to take on the kind of power of the French at this point. But I will say this army is looking spooky, so Beasty's going to have to dip quite quickly. And that is the power of the Donzos. As I mentioned before, they can just throw those spears a very, very long way. Snipes an early knight, which is huge against the French. Every knight that you can pick off is just way more in the bank. That's about 240 resources killed off. Let me just quickly check. Yes. Which is really, really good, especially on this map when most of the gold's in the middle. So if Corvinus can keep Beasty in his base, that gold will eventually run out. But luckily for Beasty, he does have a little gold mine over here, right next to it, so it can eventually secure that as well. But Corvinus is now going to find the second TC. So this is going to be the turning point, I believe, in this game. If Beasty can hold this off, he's going to be sitting in a very, very good position. Do we have the RAM technology? Let me see. We do not have siege engineering, so it's going to be tough for anything to really go down. It looks like, though, these are going to be scouted out and found out, which is super unfortunate for these villagers. But oh, they might actually get away. And there they go. It looks like the villagers are actually going to dip out, and there's going to be 8 inside. So now we're going to see if this large force can just take this down physically. It looks like they will be. BC's just staying at home. So this overwhelming force of 25 throwers, just as I said, the TCs were really good. Of course, if they are being defended, they're even better. That's a huge get for Corvinus. Corvinus is now sitting in the driver's seat for this game, has a massive army, just took out a ton of those villagers, up to 10 villagers done and dusted. So making quick work of that, but that being said, Beasty has decided to find a new home, which is the gold mine of Corvinus, and is getting so much damage. That is so many villagers that were over here mining away. I mean, what were they doing before? Were they just like over here? Were they just running away via they was running away from the food? But that is a huge win for Beasty. So much idle time. He's gonna be getting a few houses for his troubles as well, and Corvinus is gonna want to engage, but Beasty's just gonna run these knights out of here the second he sees them. And here they come, and there they go. Actually gonna get a cheeky last throw in and put it on fire, and then decide to move out. Nothing in here can actually chase down these knights too quickly. Those warrior scouts can eventually, but as you can see, they get pretty clapped pretty quick. And these Donzos are trying to get those spear throws off, but it is just a short enough range the knights can get out quite quickly. And this is one of the benefits of the French army. It's just so nimble. They can just run, they can do a quick little counterattack, and it looks like all those villagers were over here, kind of getting all that fresh food stuff. But are they out of deer at this point? Is it only... Wow, those deers went by quick. So now the Malian player is now moving on to these berries that are in the backside of the base. Beasty is now throwing up a wall over there, and is looking to do even more damage to these pit mines. All this passive income is obviously causing a lot of... And there's a free knight for Corvinus. As I mentioned, this mobile army with those spears is just so good, which definitely speaks as to why they're struggling so much in this matchup, traditionally speaking. Those Donzos are playing a massive role. No one has gone for Castler just yet, which is actually a little interesting. I wouldn't be surprised if we see one of them try to push for castle at this point. Corvinus is floating enough gold at this point to go up, but not nearly enough food. We didn't see the cow boom this time around, so nothing quite there just yet, but we might see it very, very soon. And that is one of the powers of the mines. If they just get a lot of gold, they can do a whole lot of things. Those are some 3 Musafi warriors going down quickly, but they just usually mine a ton of gold, and they can buy food with gold. They can pretty much do everything they really want. Another great engage here from Beasty, evening out the villager count 10 apiece. Might even actually do a little bit more. Yes, going to go down to 12, and that's absolutely insane. This army is going to be catching out these knights. These knights are going to lose a few for their troubles, but BC is more than happy to trade a few knights here and there to actually do a ton of damage on the backhand side, and does get this other knight one out. Even more damage being done. You don't want to run that way. Oh no, these knights are done and dusted. That's okay. It's still a good trade. And actually, they might be getting away. And remember, these knights, the heroes over here, can heal up, and they all get out besides a few. That is absolutely huge. And as you can see, the French still has a 28 villager lead. And if Beasty keeps picking off people left and right like this, it's going to get even greater. Beasty sitting at 16 knights with 44 archers. Does have plenty of gold in the bank to go up, so I wouldn't be surprised if he starts to focus on food. Looks like he's a little bit low on food. As I mentioned, that is one of the only issues that the French face at the current moment. Not really much food, and with this TC taken down, as you can see, BC's going for the cheeky play. He needs food at this point. Corvinus unfortunately has not scouted these out. If he did, it would be really, really rough for Beasty, but this actually could change the tide of the game. If Beasty's able to secure a few of these berries and get these 8 villagers cooking, that is going to be huge for them. As you can see, has so much but no food. Has no food. So this map is it's just you're designed to do tons of engages because you kind of have to. So Beasty's going to have to also collect a lot of if these don't work out, collect a lot of wood, because he's going to need to do something to do a farm transition of some sort. As you can see, BC moving everyone to wood. He's going to have to do a full-on farm transition on the back-end side of his base to collect any food at all. He's just struggling in the food department, nothing else. But Corvinus senses that there's blood in the water and is decided to move into BC's base with a very sizable force of around 60 people. We have another engage over here. These warrior scouts get absolutely cleaned out, and now we have a ton of archers absolutely dishing tons and tons of damage. These warrior scouts they are absorbing a lot of damage for these Donzos, which is huge. The knights have decided to go in. There's a lot of Donzos in that mix, which is not good for them to be charging into, but the javelin throwers are also getting very, very good trades in off. As we can see, when the javelin throwers are left undefended, these knights go in, get a nice charge off. And it looks like the archers are now moving in, trying their best to get in onto these Donzos. The second they take out all the Donzos, this fight will be a win for BC. It looks like BC is actually going to be coming out on top here, which is absolutely insane. It just shows you the power of the French knights. And now that the knights are able to be in on these javelin throwers, it is going to be a long day coming for Corvinus, unfortunately. And look at how many archers BC had. He had about 50 to start this off, still has 26, and is still moving out. And it looks like these have not been scouted out over here, which is giving BC the lifeline of food, the desperate food that he needs. It looks like Corvinus is also going to be going up to Castle Age, which is going to be absolutely huge for him on this. If the Castle Age upgrades came into play when that first engage happened, this would be a very different story. BC played that so well, though, the micro back and forth from here, but it looks like Corvinus is going to see the squad moving out. That is 15 villagers for the taking. We do have some knights over here, but this is a huge win from Corvinus. He might assume that this was the cohort coming over originally, so he might not go and check over here, but it looks like he is going to finally check and see that this is how BC is getting his food. And now they're going to be quickly calling it a day. That being said, this tower might get some decent damage on these Donzos, but are they Castle Age just yet? They are not just yet, but they will be very, very soon, and here comes the upgrades. These villagers are gonna run for the hills, but we do have enough time now that BC does have a farm transition. So back up to about 1,000 food per minute, which means he's gonna be going up to Castle Age soon, and there it is. The farm transition is happening, and the longer this goes on, the better it's gonna be in a position for Beasty, because he just needs food. If he's able to survive and to the point of getting food, he's gonna be sitting in a great position. Corvinus has killed off 17 workers, but still sits behind at about 23 villager clip, which is huge. And BC is actually now going after pit mines, so all that passive income is being destroyed. We do see that currently 0 wood is being produced, and now we have a ton moving to wood over here, and they'll be moving back. We do have cows being produced as well for food. As I mentioned, the Malians have that capability. Guild Hall is coming out, so now we're moving into a Castle Age kind of warfare. But if the Castle Age upgrades come in quite soon, BC's army is going to be in a very, very good position. These Donzos are doing super well. This is an engage that Corvinus would love to take, but of course this army is super mobile, so it's going to be very hard for him to track it down. That being said, these archers are susceptible to get a few pot shots here and there they go. It looks like they can one-shot these Mustafadi warriors, and they're going to be quickly doing that. The stealth force is going to save a ton of them, but this one brave soul is keeping so much vision going, which is great. And yeah, hello, aka Beasty, is going up to that Castle Age. Absolutely huge for morale on that one. And here comes the upgrades. Unfortunately for Beasty, he is upgrading his horsemen in this first stable, so if they do decide to turn tide onto this one, it will be canceling that upgrade quite quickly. But that being said, the archer upgrade is going to be the most important thing here, besides obviously the knights. The knights are still just Castle Age, but the Mustafadi warrior decides to run around. And this is going to be a nice engage over here. The knights are actually going in. They're going to be quickly pulling back to make sure the Donzos are out front, so they can get ripped apart from this TC and from the archers in the back side as well. BC's looking like he doesn't actually have to wait for Castle Age to kind of clean this up. Some great micro there, and you can see the power of those TCs. Absolutely helping. And pretty much is an incorporation of another like 10 archers, which is always nuts and really, really helpful, especially on the defense. BC actually now going up, getting all those upgrades as well. Now he has some really nice horsemen in the mix too, which are going to be playing a pivotal role into what this counter setup is, which is mainly Donzos and those archers and javelin throwers. So now there's only 9 Donzos to 10 horsemen plus 6 knights. So not nearly enough to actually stop what's going to be going down. And this guild hall is just absolutely pumping money on the backhand side. As you can see, it's generating gold. And it's just kind of collecting as much as it possibly can. But this matchup is traditionally a lot harder. But BC's playing this so well at this point. And Corvinus is as well. I mean, it's one of those things where it's super unfortunate this map is meant to be super aggressive. And he tried his absolute best for an all-in, did kill off that TC pretty quickly, but the thing is the TCs are just so powerful right now and how quickly they produce those villagers. So by the time he got there, BC already had an insane lead, and then a 1 TC French is always going to be in a very good position because of their increased villager production speed. That being said, a 1 TC Malian is probably one of the strongest in the game off of 1 TC, besides maybe the Ottomans, but the Ottomans probably need something, a little bit of love in the next season. To get them up to snuff to tournament level. But it looks like Corvinus is going to be dishing some damage, going to be killing over 20 villagers at this point. But Beasty is moving out with a large force, has all these upgrades as well. Not really many upgrades on Corvinus' side. Is getting +2 wedge rivets, which is going to be huge for this upcoming fight. We'll have to wait and see kind of how he's going to be dealing with this. That entire pit mine has been taken out, so we only have 1 active pit mine for Corvinus at the current moment, which is behind, and they're actually out of gold, which is not good in the slightest. Now, it looks like this entire army is moving back into the safety of the base, but Beasty might catch them out, which would be the end of the game. If he caught them out in a very bad position where the Donzos were in the front line, that would be a quick way for this game to be called a quick GG. Beasty is now moving out with a keep to the middle of the map to take full-on control. And he has found a lone javelin thrower over there, which they made a light work of. Now on the backhand side, they are trying to build up enough for a keep, it looks like, to provide a little bit of defense. We can see the relics are now also being taken, which have not been a focus at all. But BC is moving in with this very mobile force and trying to do so much damage. The Malian player just kind of stuck in his base, which is super unfortunate. Nothing they can really do. And this army, this is one of the issues facing against a cavalry heavy army. Beasty only has to really worry about where his archers are on the map, but Corvinus has to use his entire army every single time, because if he only brings over archers, then if there's an engage, then they'll be absolutely slaughtered by those knights and horsemen. And if he only brings donzos, that means his archer ball is fully susceptible if they run back across the map and takes out the entire ranged mass. So they have to stick together, which it is very intimidating right now. 38 archers, 22 donzos, and some javelin throwers. But this flank is going to be super nice from Beasty. Actually decides to not pull the trigger just yet because his archers are not in position. But it looks like under the help of this keep, are they going to go in on this keep? I hope not. I was going to say, don't fight underneath another thing that's going to... But these are all donzos going forward, which is not good in the slightest. And actually just GG's. I think he sees the keep. He saw the backhand side getting raided, and the horsemen had a flank. So if those archers moved up, it was going to be a quick game, and mainly that force was all range units, which would have gotten eaten alive by all those horsemen that Beasty had. GG's. I'm super excited for more games and more games coming up. If you guys did enjoy, please do leave a like and subscribe to the channel. It would mean a ton to me. Thank you so much for all the nice comments in the past couple of videos. I truly appreciate all of them. And yeah, hope you guys have a wonderful night.